Hey everybody, it is like 5 in the morning, 4:53. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, and I was just trying to was testing out the live stream. I'm gonna try and figure out how to share my screen. So I don't know if I'll get anybody coming on here, but I was just trying to kind of test everything out. Let's see if I can actually share my screen. I don't really have anything planned. It's just 5 in the morning. Like I feel like I've just been chopped up with microwaves. My back and my hips, in my sleep, my attackers are just pulsing them with pain. I really got to cover up. I try and cover up my Faraday bunker in the back. I'm gonna move the camera a little bit. Move it this way. It's horrible. I hate that thing showing. But it's what I sleep in to protect me. And it does protect me a little bit. Yeah, that didn't work at all. So it is September 26th, 2018. I really want to friggin' cover that up or just get rid of this crap. Use this shirt. I hope everybody's doing good out there or surviving. You know, I'm basically just surviving right now. That kind of works. Okay. All right, didn't work at all. Oh man. Slides down. Is this even streaming? I'm not even sure. But it's September 26, 2018. God, it's really fucking annoying. Hold on 1 second, guys. I get something on here. Yeah, I just want to rip this whole fucking thing down. But then I would be just microwaved out in the open. It's murdered, microwaved out in the open. See if that works. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't work at all. So I hope this isn't. I guess it is going out, and that's just going to shows on every one of my videos. Might not make this long. I don't think anybody's going to show up because it's like 5 in the morning. I do want to try and do some screen sharing. I don't want to share this. Okay. How do you share your screen? Looks so easy when everybody else does it. Oh, I can barely think. I got my shitty hat on. I didn't put my good hat on. So what do I want to talk about? I can barely think, guys. I'm just can't even think about what I want to talk about. We just got to keep getting information out there. I gotta wake up. My back. It just feels like it's broken. I do want people to know. Maybe I'll play some music or something. I wonder if y'all can hear. I'll play some music while I try and figure out. I wonder if y'all can y'all see the pages that I'm bringing up? Probably not. Probably it's just showing me streaming. How do you do screen sharing? Oh man. Is anybody? Oh, we got somebody in chat. Hey, how are you doing? I'm just testing this out. I'm just testing out live stream to see if I can share my screen. But I hope you're doing well. This is a targeted individual channel. Okay, well they're gone. They left. They were just checking it out. Yeah, I'm gonna play some music real quick while I try and figure this out. I really can barely think this morning. Sat there. Oh gosh. Like I don't know, guys. Like I'm gonna keep fighting and stuff like that, but my brain is like, I mean, the microwave pulses and everything are just literally murdering me. I mean, literally murdering me. I wish people could understand that, like, we're not talking about some kind of looming threat or conspiracy theory. We're like literally talking about like people being murdered in every neighborhood in America and around the world. I'm gonna play. I wonder if my screen is showing, because that would be cool. I doubt it though. I think I'm just showing on there. Some music and see if I can figure it out. I don't know if I can. I like this one. So I hope y'all can hear this.
I have something you might like to see.
I'm not sure if y'all can hear the music. Let's see, how do I share my screen? This has been on for like 6 minutes. Alright, well, it looks like I'm not going to be able to share my screen, I guess. Is this sharing my screen? I don't even know. I guess I'll look back on it and see. Alright, guys. Well, I guess I just wanted to get this set up, this live stream set up. And then I'll get some stuff prepared for my next one. I'm doing really, really bad right now. My parents came into town, and like I see them. I guess I hate going into details, but like they are being targeted. Like they are being actually worked on by contractors, and my mom has, her left side is numb because she had a bunch of mini strokes. And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and she just thinks it's the mini strokes and whatever. Hey, I got somebody in the chat room. How are you doing? I'm just testing out my live stream right now. This is a targeted individual page, and I don't really have anything planned. I was trying. Do you know? Hey, Yogi. Yes, being murdered very badly. I'm being murdered very badly too. Like the microwave pulses to my head. They're pulsing pain down my back and my hips. Yeah. Are you using anything for defense? Like, are you defending with anything? I don't know. I'm having trouble keeping up with my defenses because it's just every day for so long. I would ground. I would try and ground some. Grounding actually does help a lot. And then Dave Case's CD. Dave Case's CD is really like a miracle, because it's like they're shooting basically a bidirectional stream of energy at our head, and it has certain carrier frequencies that are pretty general, but then it has unique frequencies to you or your. Well, you can go to anti-tinnitus V2K.com. Look, I'll type it in chat. And just go there and check it out. I know it sucks. Like, I have a bunch of things to defend with. Hey, Next, what's up? Yeah, I'm just testing my live stream. I didn't really have anything planned. Next, do you know how do you screen share on live stream? How are you doing, by the way, man? Do you have a place to stay? Did you find a place to stay yet? Hey, it's good to see you too, man. I haven't been doing much lately. I've just been trying to survive. And I woke up like an hour and a half ago, and I'm kind of I've never done a live stream, but I wanted to share my screen. I really don't have anything planned. I've been getting really murdered. Me and Yogi were talking about it. Like, I've been getting the shit murdered out of me, and it's hardcore. Like, it's really hardcore. Okay, cool, man. Well, you still have that. I never put money in your GoFundMe. You still have that up? That GoFundMe. I'm gonna go to your channel and try and help you out, because I do get disability. I have a little bit of money. But next, what do you use for defense? Are you using anything for defense right now? I was just telling Yogi how I have trouble. It's still live. If you want that, would help. Oh, it's still live. Is that like a program or something? I just don't know like how to get, because I have this like thing with my webcam where you can screen share, and how do I get that connected with live stream? I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Yogi. Yeah. See, I'm really doing bad. I just woke up, and dude, microwave pulsing to my head. What I was okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put you like $50 in there or something like that, just to help you out. I know it's not like I was supposed to do it a long time ago, and I forgot. I completely forgot. Kind of wanted to show like some videos and stuff with my screen sharing. Okay, so I need to live stream from Google Hangouts, and then I can screen share. So if you just do it straight from YouTube, you can't really do any screen sharing. Thank you, Next. So what can we do about this targeting? I mean, y'all see me doing all these videos and just putting out documentation after documentation after documentation. Where are the safe places? I want to actually bring this thing up. I know y'all won't be able to see it, but it's a PDF that Patrick sent me, and it's the directed energy. Let me find it real quick. If I can find it. And there are actually some states that do not have any directed energy weapon activity, is what they say. Like Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota. But I think the thing is, since we're already targeted, if we went there, we would still be targeted. But I don't think they pick up a lot of new targets in those states. Because have you guys ever talked to a targeted individual from Montana? I can't pull. I gotta pull that up later. But there's a couple of states, like, because the Directed Energy Professional Society, like, they monitor all the manufacturers and stuff in different states, and activity on like research and development, and they have like spots in all the different states in the United States. But for Montana, South Dakota, and North Dakota, and then there's some other states up north. I think like Idaho or something. I don't think there's any contractors in those states. Yeah, I've never talked to anybody in Montana either. But the deal is, like, I think that if like I moved to Montana, I would still get targeted because they have cell phone towers in Montana. It's just I don't think they pick up, like, if somebody was born in Montana, they're probably less likely to get targeted because they're not doing a lot of research and development there. Other countries, I mean, Brian too says Russia. He says it like, okay, Brian too said that he went to Russia and the directed energy weapon torture wasn't as bad. And also Susie Dawson went there and said that she got a break from it, but then it started in again. I don't think you could go anywhere. I mean, I think you go to Russia, you go, where did Brian too go? Yeah, I know some TIs in Russia, and I know one in Romania. And he thinks that he's targeted by Americans. Like, he thinks that he's targeted by a contractor in America, because his V2K started in England. Like, he got targeted by directed energy weapons, but then he went to England and his V2K started, and it was in English. Like, it was an English speaker, not like British, not a British accent, but an American accent. And his V2K just said die, 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 die all the time. I don't think so, though. I think that every country has a military industrial complex, even if it's not a Five Eye country. That has a military industrial complex that's doing this. And our country, I think, the CIA and these contractors, I think they train some other countries to do this to their own citizens and experiment on their citizens. Yeah, I've heard England's really bad. Ecuador, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Brian too says that he says the gang stalking isn't that bad in Ecuador, but the directed energy weapon attacks are still bad. Yeah, it's everywhere. I literally, guys, I mean, I think that the deal is, like, all these class action suits are starting up and people are trying to get court cases going. I think that's good. I don't think that that's gonna, because the Central Intelligence Agency and all these contractors, if something goes through in court, they'll give somebody a settlement or give them a gag order. And if they do win big, then they can redact everything that happened and hide it from the public, like wins in court. So I really think that our only chance is just building awareness, like, and then doing all that other stuff, right? Doing the class action suits and, letters to senators and everything like that. I think when we hit enough awareness, then the Senate might have to investigate it. You watch things, like I was watching something yesterday. So Truth Devoured, how are you doing, man? Right, Yogi. I mean, building awareness is good. I was watching this thing yesterday on the the whole Watergate thing, and Woodward and Bernstein, like, brought it out into the public. Like, they put it in the paper and put it out into the public so that the Senate had to investigate it. And then all this stuff started coming out about, like, all these wrongdoings by Richard Nixon and his cabinet. I think what we're going to have to do is build up enough awareness. Well, I mean, that's what awareness is, like, uniting together. Like, I mean, you're talking about moving together, like getting like someplace to move physically together. I think that's good too. I think we should do that too. I think anything to building an army. Well, anything that's violent, they're just gonna turn back in on us. TI Lives Matter. So hashtag TI Lives Matter on Twitter. This is a really counterintuitive fight, guys. Because if we do, I mean, even if we built a TI army, which it's hard to get enough people just to go out and do peaceful protests with targeted individuals. So that would be almost impossible. But even if we could do it, they would just turn any kind of violence back on us like a false flag. And make us look crazy. So this is a very counterintuitive fight, and we fight better. We're going to fight better with information. We're going to fight better with information and getting people to know what's going on, you know, especially like this Dr. Galam. No, there's stuff we can do. There, Yogi. Yeah, information will stop this crime, because if you see Dr. Galam, she's coming out and writing scientific articles about how microwaves were the major, you know, the major culprit in Cuba. And then in China, she mentions China too. If we get a bunch of scientists and a bunch of doctors talking about this, then the mainstream media will have to start reporting it right. They'll be forced to. They'll be forced to, because if they don't, then the people won't believe all their other lies. So like, this is inevitable. Like I'm telling you guys, it's just, how long is it going to be? You know, how long is it going to take for this to come out? But it's inevitable that it will come out. The truth always outs. No, they're controlled, Yogi. You're right. Mainstream media is controlled, but if you go watch the Susie Dawson interview with Romola D, even though they're controlled, there's a certain point in time. There's a certain point in time where they have to tell the truth. They are forced to, because if they don't, like the media didn't want to report on Snowden, right? The media would have rather not, because they are the media. The mainstream media is part of the military-industrial complex. They have connections to the CFR. The owners of all these media corporations have connections to the CFR and intelligence agencies. So when Snowden came out, it was broken internationally, and the media had to pick it up because so many people knew about it, right? Like they didn't want to report on it. They would have hidden the Snowden case. I don't know. He worked, because Snowden worked for, okay, so Yogi's saying Snowden isn't real, Kyle, it's propaganda. Maybe you're right. You know, the Glenn Greenwald from The Guardian he seems like controlled opposition, but Snowden did work for Booz Allen Hamilton, and he had to go to Russia too. Like he couldn't just stay in America. I think if it was like a propaganda thing and just seeing how people would react to that information coming out, I think that he wouldn't have had to move to Russia. I think he would have stayed in America. Yeah. Why didn't Snowden expose targeted individual gang stalking, mind reading? He did a little bit. He touched on it, but I think it's for the same reason. I think it's for the same reason Kevin Shipp doesn't, because Kevin Shipp was targeted. Kevin Shipp's family was targeted by microwaves and remote neural manipulation, but he doesn't talk about it because he feels like they signed some kind of agreement, like some kind of a silence agreement or whatever, when they're working for these agencies. And I think if they speak about secret programs like that, they really could be thrown in jail for a long time. So I think a lot of people know about them, but that's a form of censorship where they're making them sign these. I don't know what they're called. Let me look it up real quick. Hey, Lewis. So we got a lot of people. I was just checking out. I was just like trying to screen share with my live stream. So this was kind of just a test. But I'll keep it going if you guys are hanging out. If y'all have any questions, let me look this up. Wait, what was I gonna look up? I completely forgot. Oh, what kind of agreements did they sign? When you work for the CIA or something like that, like Kevin Shipp and Snowden. Hey, Lewis, how you doing, man? Yeah, we need their. I mean. Well, Yogi's saying we need an outlet to talk about this. Yeah, I mean, we have the conference calls, but I don't know. Conference calls are good for interviews and to hang out and to have some people to talk to. Live streaming is good. Live streaming or just videos so people can comment. We need some more outlets. I think people meet up. We need to start meeting up in our specific states. And like I've talked to it was a long time ago before he got married. I talked to Joe Lilly, but then I never kept in contact with him. He's hitting the streets. Like Joe Lilly lives in my state and he's hitting the streets. He goes out and he preaches actually like the word of the Bible and the word of God, and tries to end targeting. Then I have another targeted individual friend who lives in the city. And I don't keep in contact with them because my car doesn't work and I'm just trying to survive. But I think that we just need to start meeting up in our states, and then go and do protests in our individual states, and then meeting up with local government. Amy, I forget her name, in California. She had a lot of success, and she actually got some legislation to ban space-based weapons because she met with local government. Yeah, Nex is saying he's been hanging in there. I've barely been hanging in there. Hey, y'all put some links in there. If there's anything y'all want me to read or anything y'all want me to go through, I didn't plan anything. My attackers, like last night when I was sleeping, were just like putting pain down my back and my hips to where it was just like shooting pain, and like I had to get up. And then it kind of goes away. Like it goes away a little bit. My body feels like kind of like a sirloin, like a medium sirloin. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll look up something. What did I want to look up? Yogi, what was I talking about? I can't even remember what I was talking about, guys. I'm gonna drink some more Red Bull. Well, yeah, I know I was talking about targeting, but what wasn't I talking about? Okay, yeah, I was talking about that agreement that people in the intelligence services or whatever, and then these contractors, they sign some kind of agreement. I'm gonna look up something on Kevin Shipp real quick. Shipp. That's another. They have many ways to censor information about, like, in programs that they don't want getting out or something like that. Intelligence agencies and contractors have so many different like roadblocks for the information not getting out. And then it's like Kevin Shipp talks about, like, even in a court case, if you bring it all the way to the top and all the way to the Supreme Court, like he brought his case like very far in the courts, but then at a certain point, like everything was redacted. The intelligence agencies came in and they just kind of like they just put a clamp down on that information and what's happening. Like, so they have all these different ways. Yeah, agreement to shoot us with dues. Yeah, it's that, and like it's man, I'm gonna look it up. I can't think of the name. I can't think. Basically, is the problem. My brain is not working. Like it's like the non-ionizing microwave radiation is affecting my memory. Then the remote neural manipulation specific protocols for specific areas of the brain are working too, that they're working on, and just being so tired. I think that my adrenaline, my endocrine system's being affected. I think that these remote neural manipulation protocols, they're targeting specific, like the hypothalamus, our adrenaline system, our thyroid gland. Or I'm gonna find a name for this. This is just like secret agreements or something like that. See, in late 2001, Kevin Shipp and his family attempted to sue the CIA, alleging that it had placed them in a mold-contaminated home that made them sick and required nearly all their possessions to be destroyed. However, a U.S. judge sealed the case and prohibited its discussion, right? See, however, a U.S. judge sealed the case and prohibited its discussion. So that's what happens. Like, we still need to do, I mean, we've got to do the court cases and stuff like that, but they have these levers in place to even if we win a court case, the intelligence agencies can come in and just like lock it down and say, hey, we can't talk about this. So that's why we have to do awareness, like with the court cases and everything like that. And eventually, just the media is talking about microwaves. You know, the mainstream media is saying microwaves, and that's a large step forward. But I agree with a lot of people. I need this to end like today. so that I don't die because I'm being murdered. Covert contract murders, yes. Nobody ever won any court case on this. Well, actually, people have won settlements. If y'all look up Richard Kane, he sued the Department of Defense and then the hospitals that implanted him and his 2 boys. And he did win a settlement, but he also had a gag order. And then James Wahlberg, I've said this on my videos. I said this on my videos, but that, oh God, the History Channel ran that show with Zachary Quinto, In Search Of, and he talks to James Wahlberg. So that's a really, 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 really good show to watch and get out there. I think you can get it for free. You can go to History Channel, like historychannel.com. I couldn't get it to play there, but there's this other site, and I can't remember it because I can't remember anything. It's like my memory doesn't work. Next, do you use any kind of supplements for like memory? People were telling me, what were they saying? St. John's wort, or yeah, my short-term memory is just horrible. Like yesterday I was like sitting around, and I forgot what I did during the day. I forgot how long I had been up. It's really scary because I had a photographic memory. Like I could remember, I'd go watch movies and I could get out of the movie and just tell you everything that happened, every scene. And now I'll like watch a movie or something and I'll remember like one part of it. It's really bad. It's really bad. I take a lot of supplements. So there's this one, I know I've told y'all about it. Well, I take Kratom too. But the Curamin is actually really helping me. I might take some Curamin right now. Because Curamin, it stops inflammation in the body, and I think inflammation is a lot of our pain. I think that with remote neural manipulation, they're sending pain signals to the nervous system, and then you get external hits from microwaves. It's causing like intense inflammation, in nerves and muscles. So the Curamin has curcumin and turmeric, which a lot of Indian people use in their food. That really helps me. So let's see. So Yogi says they can wipe your memory. Yes, that's true. Truth Devoured. I have a shoddy connection, guys. I have to go. My phone's running on. Example, my remote neural monitoring is running on 6th. Go figure. Okay. To Shay saying, I used to have a photographic memory also. I know what you mean with short-term memory loss. Yogi, my muscle is twitching now. Lewis, they wipe your memory to fabricate something. Yes, yeah, they put, like, what they're doing, Brian too is right. Like, this all has to do with trauma-based behavioral control. Like, so that's why, like right now, my body's really tired and I am getting tortured. I'm getting tortured severely. But at the beginning, when they first started on the protocol of me being tortured and knowing that I was being tortured, it was a lot worse to my body, not my mind, because they're trying to push trauma in there to clear neural pathways. They clear neural pathways, and then they can send signals from remote neural manipulation to your visual cortex or and other parts of your brain. But mine specifically, mine has a lot to do with the visual cortex. Like, I'll think about something. Some of the examples I don't even want to give. Like some of the examples of stuff that they do with remote neural manipulation to my visual cortex, like I don't even want to talk about, because a lot of people do not believe, even some targeted individuals don't believe that they can do, visual injections, like injections to the visual cortex. And so some things I don't even talk about because it's so awful. Like it's so against. It's just, I think y'all probably know some of the things. I guess some things that I could talk about, that I can talk about, is like horror movies and like gory stuff. They'll inject that, but they even do some stuff that's like I don't even talk about. I will never talk about, because if people don't believe me or whatever, they'll think that I'm like, it's really bad. Just really bad. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you though that Dave Casey really does help with the visual injection and emotional manipulation. Because I get I used to have such a just a sense of well-being, even through the first like many years through torture. Like I just push my adrenaline, and life was still good, and there was still good out there and stuff. But now it's like I'm beyond depressed, you know. I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, you know, we got to figure a way out of this. People are being murdered in our communities, and then we're sitting around on videos, kind of discuss. Like people come on. I don't know. Do you guys have y'all ever seen that guy on my channel, Neil Dale? Like we have like community placed agents like learning how to come in to like forums and comment, you know, comments on videos and just say like, oh, this isn't happening, you're all crazy and stuff like that. I don't see as much of it now, which is good, but that's crazy. Like we're being murdered, we need help, we need medical help, we need psychological help because this is happening. And then we have people discussing it as if it's like a conspiracy theory, like the moon hoax or flat Earth or something like this. Oh, is it may these target individuals? Oh, it could be happening, but we're like being murdered. Like our society has the system has social engineered people to the point where huge percentages of people can be being murdered by the state and tortured by the state, and we're going to sit around on forums like discussing that if it's going on or not. I mean, they have really mind controlled society as a whole. You know, maybe not everybody's getting directly targeted by directed energy weapon systems like us, but they have you know, they've mind controlled, you know, the whole world basically. Yeah. Next, I got to go watch some of your newer videos, man. It's very sad, Yogi. It's very sad, but it's like, I mean, here we are, you know, here we are. Like, it's not justice that we have to convince people that it's going on. It's not justice that we've got to find a way. We should have a lot of white hats and people investigating this, but it's a system of fear, you know. And it, you know, I was watching some stuff about, you know, the JFK assassination, and they were going into a lot about how since its inception, the CIA has been so closely linked with the mob, you know. And I think that it's gotten so infested, like the CIA has infected a lot of other organizations and branches of the military, and the CIA has always been connected to the mob. And what does the mob do? It uses scare tactics to control. So the CIA uses the same scare tactics, and then they get these third-party contractors. Like there's a pyramid of third-party contractors and then subcontractors and everything that are doing all the research, but they're using mob tactics. Like they make doctors and stuff cooperate, or hey, you'll be targeted, we'll murder your family too. So they're just getting their playbook basically from the mob, from the mafia, which has been around for, you know, hundreds of years or whatever. Yeah, Shay says it's sheer evil. Yes, it is. It's satanic evil. And I think one of the tricks that they played, you know, on these people doing it, like, because my attackers seem like ex-military, and they seem to have this mind, like a cold-blooded mindset of like, hey, we just got to do this or whatever. I think they're also Masonic, but they have this mindset. Hold on one second. Next, so they have this mindset of like, we're just doing this like a drone attack or something like that, and we're doing this for our country. And I think the problem with like intelligence agencies and contractors is that they've tricked people who are doing this. Some of them are actually really satanic, and they know they're satanic, but they've tricked a lot of people into being like, okay, well, this is just experimentation for our country, and we've got to do it because other countries are doing it, but they're actually doing satanic rituals, and they don't even think of them as satanic rituals. The gang stalkers are involved in, you know, harassing people being murdered, but they're not even, you know, it's a satanic ritual. You know, destroying a person is a satanic ritual, but they're just thinking, oh, well, this is community watch and stuff like that. They've tricked everybody into participating in a satanic ritual, you know. So next level, hey, Vulcan Wolverine, are you still doing your conference call? If so, what days and time do you host them? Oh, no. next, I'm not moderating calls anymore. I've like when Ella's really overwhelmed, I'll kind of step in and moderate her call, but I don't really want to moderate calls anymore. I've done it for a couple of years, and it's good, and I think that we do need the calls, but I really want to focus on pushing the information out, because I think on those conference calls it's good for coping, and we do exchange some information and stuff like that, but it's just not pushing the information out in the way that I want to do. I think they're good. So Ryan does a late night call every night. It's kind of wild and woolly. I haven't been going a lot lately. It just feels like I think for people who want to cope, who are trying to cope, or they're bored at night, like they're being attacked, they can't go to sleep. I think the calls are really good. They're a little bit crazy, like the 8 o'clock calls or whatever. Those are great calls, and a lot of information gets shared. The late calls are just a little bit, just like we don't get enough done. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a good place to go hang out and stuff. But I just don't feel like, I feel like me doing videos, like how you do videos next, getting information out like that is maybe a better venue, and I don't have a lot of energy. Like if I wasn't being targeted and cooked to death, I would do the calls and the videos. Like I'd have a lot of energy to do a lot of different things. But with this, you got, like, because your brain's being microwaved and you don't have a lot of energy, you have to say, like, what's my priority here? What's my talent that I think I can use for the community the best way? I think that's what every target has to do. They have to say, what should I focus on here, and throw in your talent. And like, so moderating the calls and doing the videos, I was getting a little bit tired, and I those calls get kind of like people talking over each other and stuff like that, and it got on my nerves, and it kind of made my targeting a little bit worse. So, shalom to you, self-contented. Pashao, pashao. Some perps think they're guardians of peace. I think so. I think that a lot of these perps, like, they really think they're doing something good for their country. I think the people microwaving me, like the Electronics Corps, at least that's what that gang stalking manual said, calls them the Electronics Corps. They're microwaving me, and the guy on the V2K says a lot. He goes, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. It doesn't matter. They picked him. We've got to do this. And he thinks that he's doing something for his country. Because I guarantee you what he's been told, or it's really shift workers, and they use the same male voice. But what they have been told is that that this is like Russia's doing this, China's doing this, all these other countries are testing their directed energy weapon systems, and that we have to do it because we have to stay in this directed energy weapon race with the other countries. So I'd guarantee that's an angle, that people are being told. Okay, so Lewis Rowe says targeting. Oh, and I wanted to say Pashao. Thank you for supporting my channel, because like you've been there for like I started these videos 6 years ago, and you've been hanging in there for a long time, man. It's good to see you. So Lewis says targeting is another form of human trafficking. Yes, yeah, it is. Because I mean, so okay, in chat, let's do there's only 7 people in chat, but I thank y'all for being here. This is just a test run. I was trying to share my screen, but Nick says I have to I'm gonna have to go to Google Hangouts. I hate like showing how little I know about technology. Wait, what was I saying? Yeah. So Lewis says targeting is another form of human trafficking. Definitely. I wanted to ask y'all, maybe show in chat, like, I think that the main reason that this is happening, why they're getting away with it, and there's a lot of different angles, but I think that it's because the wave of conformed consent is the same that it was after World War II, and that's the excuse that the intelligence agencies and contractors are using, is that they can experiment on anybody they want to. If a high up enough clearance level decides they want to experiment on somebody, they can do it for national security reasons or something. I think that's if there was like legislation today that said, no, there has to be informed consent with human experimentation, I think that this would stop. Like, I literally think that this would stop. I want y'all to put in the comments what y'all think about that, because a lot of people say the experimentation is over. So I kind of wanted to talk about this. People say the experimentation is over. They already know everything about the brain and the nervous system. They already know how to microwave and torture somebody. The experimentation is over. This is soft kill. This is slow kill, and that's it. So I kind of wanted to get y'all's opinion on that, because I think that it has a lot to do with experimentation. I think they already know a lot, but if you watch, what's that guy's name? James Giordano. You know, he talks about experimentation, even if they, like, I still think that they're learning stuff, because he says that he says see one brain, see one brain. You know that saying, like, you seen one brain, you seen them all. Well, you can't do that with the brain. So I think our brains are very unique, and our cultures are very unique, and different personalities are very unique. So they're trying to get all this data from like across personalities, unique brainwave signatures and things like that. But there's many other angles. I think it's soft kill too. I think that a bunch of crime is done, like insurance scams and everything, since they're doing it. But I think the main node is human experimentation, is research and development of directed energy weapons. Hey, thanks, Pasho, man. That's what I was hoping to do when I started these videos. I'll be honest with y'all. When I started making these videos, there were only a couple of targeted individuals making them, and I said, okay, like, we start making videos and getting this out, this will be done in 5 years. So like I started the videos in like 2012 or 2013 or something like that. I thought this was going to be over. I mean, there was no way. I was like, there's no way, if people know about this, that it can stay in existence. But I underestimated how corrupt everything is and how scared everybody is, and like, you know, how much money is involved. I didn't know back then how much money and like, you know, the intelligence agencies and contractors involved. I thought this was going to be over by now. Yeah. I thought we would have had a Senate investigative committee. I thought it would have blown wide open in the mainstream media. Those things are happening. Yeah, but not fast enough. It's not, I mean, when people are being murdered, like, just, okay, well, we're getting somewhere and it's happening slowly. It's not good enough. I mean, that's part of the mind control. People being murdered and people saying, oh, well, we're getting somewhere, you know, we're doing this, it's going to happen in the future. No, when somebody's being murdered, people need to stop that murder, and people like question if the murder is going on. Like, so that's part of the huge mind control system. God, this fucking light, it's killing me. So next is saying, have you been getting any sleep? Yeah, I mean, I've been getting sleep. I took a bunch of melatonin. That's one thing. We need to take a lot of melatonin, because actually the microwave attacks are zapping melatonin from our body. I do get to sleep. Like, I have Chatterbox V2K, and I start a mantra in my head. Like, in my inner voice, I start a mantra of Jesus Christ is my Savior. Jesus Christ is my Savior. Jesus Christ is my Savior. And that mantra kind of rocks me to sleep. And I do get to sleep, but that's when I try not to go to sleep a lot, because they hurt me so bad when I'm sleeping. Like, I'll be kind of like half asleep, half awake. They give me a lot of directed dreaming. They're doing NLP while I'm sleeping. Some NLP that I hear, some that's going past my subconscious. But like, what they did today is like the most painful thing. It's like pulsing down my back, and it goes all along my hip. And what they're doing is they're remote neural manipulating my nervous system and sending pain signals down my back and through my hip. So if I'm like leaning on my hip, it's like this fiery pain that feels like somebody stabbing a knife into my hip. So I do get to sleep. Like, some people say that they have so much sleep deprivation that they can never get to sleep. I do get to sleep. I think that's due to melatonin. I think it's also, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying, hey, everybody start and go take this stuff, but I take lorazepam. If I don't take lorazepam, like I take 0.5 milligrams a day, and it's kind of like Valium, but it's not as strong. It's like kind of like Xanax, but it's a little bit milder than Xanax. It's the most mild anti-anxiety medicine that I could find. If I don't take Ativan or lorazepam, that's what Ativan is, its main, or whatever it's I can't think of the word, but if I don't take that, then I will sit there in bed for hours and hours and hours and not be able to get to sleep. So for some reason that does help a lot with the sleep deprivation. But then I get to sleep and it's just, pain city and weird dreams. Like I think I told you on another video, but I had directed dreaming. Like my best friend, like when I was little, my first friend ever, and I'd go over to his house and everything like that. We were friends until high school, like best friends, just awesome friends. He died recently. Like he was 36. No, I'm 37. He was 36. I played some of his comedy routine. I had a directed dream about him after he died, but before they found the body. Before they found my best friend's body. So like I had a dream about him, and he was like wearing this blonde wig or something like that, and it wasn't like a whole dream about him, but he was in there for a little while. And then I found out like a week later that he had died, and it took them a long time to find the body. That I found out 2 days after they had found his body. So nobody knew that he had died, but I had a directed dream about him. And what I'm thinking, this is scary, y'all. This is really scary because it's nothing like, oh, they killed my best friend to get to me or anything like that. Nothing like that. I think it's even worse. I think that my best friend from childhood was targeted separately from me. Like he went through a separate life after high school, and maybe when we were kids or something like that, somewhere along the way when we branched off, we were together and branched off, maybe while we were hanging out, he was targeted separately from me. And so my attackers, either by the same contractor he was targeted, or they, my attackers knew his attackers or something, or knew about him. They knew that he had died before everybody else did, before even, before the body was found. And it really freaks me out. Like that freaks me out so much. And I haven't been able to, pushing people to suicide, as Murray Paschal says. Well, that's the thing. My friend, like, he was depressed in his later years before he died. He was on hardcore drugs and drinking. It's like he was fighting something that was really, really bad. And I when I came back to Louisiana, I didn't get in touch with him. And I really should have. I really should have gotten in touch with all my old friends, but I was dealing with this targeting. So I was like kind of keeping isolated and stuff. And it's a scary thought to think that he was going through the same kind of stuff as me, but didn't know what it was. And we weren't getting together and saying, hey, what's happening with you? Is this stuff happening with you? Like I can't even, like, cause it's like, like before I knew I was targeted, something sad would happen or something like that. And it's still like that. Something sad would happen, and like, I'd immediately start crying. My friend called me, who, not my best friend, who passed away or was murdered. I don't know which one. He called me and he was like, Todd is dead. This is real. Like, and he was bawling his eyes out. And like, I felt like gristle. I felt like steak gristle, like in my brain. Like, it's just, you have this different feeling. Like, so I didn't start immediately crying. My brain was trying to work, and I was like so microwave that all I could do was ask questions. And then like, 2 days later, I started bawling my eyes out because it hits me, it just hits me. And that's a sucky thing to know. Like, maybe if I wasn't targeted, it would have, it still wouldn't have hit me yet, and I would have maybe felt bad later on. I feel like this really messes with the emotions, and it makes me so carterized. Like I feel carterized about stuff, so traumatized that your emotions aren't right. You know what I'm saying? And it's a horrible thing. So Shay says, something really remarkable happened for my family and me yesterday. I finally identified the main camera they had been monitoring me with and covered it. All right, Shay. Uh, so like a physical camera in your place. We are in family residence. The thing is though, Shay, I think they have a lot of methods. They have physical cameras. Like, I mean, they actually have through the wall radar and remote surveillance. But hey, if maybe they were, I don't know, maybe in your situation they were just using that. I'm not sure about your situation. Yeah, it's truth devoured. It's so crazy. I can't even figure it out, and I don't feel comfortable. Like, I guess I can say it on this video, but I would never like tell his family. And I missed his funeral. Like his funeral was right. It was like right away. Like it was really quick, and I missed his funeral. Um, like I didn't even know. I thought it was going to be a couple of weeks or whatever. But I would never tell, like if I saw his mom, I would never tell him about that. Tell her about that, like that I thought he was a target or anything like that. Um, that's just it's too coincidental. It's like too coincidental, and I let things go. I think that's healthy for us. Like if something really coincidental happens, it's healthier for our brain and our sanity to just be like, well, that could be a coincidence. Or if it's very like if it's too coincidental, mark it down in your head or write it down, but then just kind of let it go. Like what am I trying to say? Like collect the evidence, but don't really internalize it or let it drive you mad. And this one really does. It drives me mad, man. It's like I really think that he was targeted separately from me, and like we were both going through our own targeting and never got together on it or anything like that. I think that's very telling of how many people are targeted, in America. Self-contented, I find spiritual warfare prayers playing when I sleep are helpful. Yes, yeah, I do mantras in my head, and um, yeah, I really pray a lot. I haven't been praying as much as I should, but faith. I know a lot of people. There are a lot of targeted individuals that are like, faith. What's that? We need concrete measures and practical measures. But my deal is like faith and action. Faith comes first. Belief and faith that we can do this, like that there's some pathway through. And I don't know the exact pathway that it's going to take for this to end. But belief that we can do something to change this is very important to taking action that's successful. And that's just like that's human beings. I mean, that's human beings. That's that's the spirit. That's you have to believe first. So like anybody who's just like, oh, we're not going to do this. There's no way. It's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. That's not going to help. Like it's not going to help. We've got to believe that we can do it, and it's an insurmountable problem, and we're all getting our brains baked while we're trying to explain the most complicated thing that's like the most complicated system and structure of technology and contracting and experimentation. But I think that there is a path through. I think that there's a path through. Variables are going to come together, and things are going to happen, and it's inevitable. It's inevitable that that's going to happen, that people are going to know that this technology was being used on somebody like us. It's inevitable, but it's how much time is that going to take? That's the only question. So Mike, I'm going to get something to drink, guys. I wasn't even planning on doing a video, but a lot of you guys are up. It's like 6 in the morning. But thanks for coming, y'all. I'm going to do some better live streams and get my screen sharing I'm going to go to Google Hangouts and get some documentation. We can go over documentation, or if you're in the chat room, you can just give me something. You can just say, hey, look this up. I want to talk about this, and then we can just all do that and just do some long live streams. Because really, what I've been doing, like, I mean, I get on the conference calls a little bit, and I try. What I'm really trying to push is, I think that everybody who would have gone and looked up this information just from us saying, hey, we're being microwaved, we're being attacked, then people start researching it. All those people already know about it. Now we're trying to convince people that are like, hey, I need documentation. You're just another targeted individual with a story. So I want to put out, like, I kind of, this is shitty, guys. I mean, it's shitty, and it's injustice that we can't just tell somebody we're being murdered and they do an investigation, because that's what happens when somebody's like, hey, I'm being murdered. This new thing, the psychiatric reprisal and questioning everybody's mind, like questioning everybody's mind in society, that's a very dangerous thing that we're going through. That all the world is going through. This new psychiatric, oh, you're talking about something that's marginalized. Yeah, delusions can be just as real as rain, or whatever the fuck they're saying. That's dangerous. That's really dangerous. So what I'm trying to do, and I mean, that's just the crappy world we live in social engineering, but we need to start doing this like a lawyer, and putting forward evidence and documentation and everything like that, so that people see it and they're like, I can't refute that. This must be going on, or at least, at the very least, this is some very clear documentation. I can't blow this off, and I've got to go look for more information on my own. So that's really what I've been working on. I think that Dr. Ghulam scientific article, James Lynn and Dr. Ghulam, in all those articles about microwaves being the mainstream culprits in Cuba and China and Uzbekistan, I think that gives us a leap forward and something to kind of blow open the dam, so to speak. Hey, Joanna from Australia. And then how do you say self-contented? They use remote viewers. In my case, it's Freemasons. Try to read my mind. Self-contented, from my experience, this is technology. Like these people, I know a lot of people say like, oh, well, it's some occult stuff and they use remote viewing and stuff like that. And I believe that, let me tell y'all what I believe about psychic abilities, okay? This is what I believe about psychic abilities. I believe that organically we're electromagnetic beings. So our brain is electromagnetic. So if you're sitting in the same room with somebody, you might kind of start thinking about the same thing. Like, because your brain isn't like, your brain can't be directed in a beam to remote view somebody. Like, say I wanted to remote view somebody in Australia, it can't be done. The brain does not have that much power. But like, if you're sitting there talking with somebody, y'all might say the same thing at the same time or connect in a certain way. Dolphins actually communicate electromagnetically, like they communicate underwater with electromagnetic symbols. We have a little bit of that. So if you're very close to somebody and your electromagnetic fields kind of intersect, you might be thinking about some of the same things. Now with this technology, they do some tricks and stuff to bolster that, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think anybody's brain is powerful enough to remote view, to send out an electromagnetic signal into the ether and then down into a place. I don't think it's powerful enough to do that. And I think we're reaching for some things in those categories, but this is definitely technology based directed energy weapon systems, military, very, very powerful military weaponry. I think we have a little bit of it. If I was like say I'm having lunch with my mom or something like that, and we start thinking about the same thing, we say the same word at the same time, that's a little bit of it could be a natural thing. Now with targeting, then you get into the whole realm of, are they making that person think a certain word and say it at a certain time? Because they do, our attackers do play games like that. So Shay says, hard to sleep because they conditioned me with noise campaigns. Yes. Yeah, noise campaigns suck. Shay, I would try some melatonin. It might not work completely, but melatonin really helps me. And then maybe just make your own noise in your head, like some kind of mantra, like I use Jesus Christ as my savior, but you could think of something like I feel good, or you know, I'm at peace, I'm at peace, I'm at peace, something like that, and just keep on making it go in your head, and then you'll kind of lull yourself to sleep, like counting sheep. You know, counting sheep actually does work. Like I've tried that. So self-contented says, break the mind control conditioning in Jesus' name. Yes, amen, amen. Another TI. So Shay says another TI says we need to approach it from a business law angle because there are businesses and money involved. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. We've got to do that. We got to come from every angle. Like we've got to get awareness out. We've got to do, I think, you know, targeted justice. They're moving along. They're trying a class action, but we need a lot of people trying class action suits and a lot of people doing individual court cases. We need to be doing it all. But like a business law angle, like I mean, yeah, we need to be looking into, you know, where follow the money, you know, like for Watergate, Woodward and Bernstein talked to Deep Throat, and I think it finally came out who he was, and he said follow the money, you know. So we need to follow the money, the manufacturers, the people who are doing the research and development. They're getting contracts from the Department of Defense. You know, the Pentagon's involved. So it's like this huge pyramid of agencies involved in research and making tons of money off of this. And I think that every country, like not even just Five Eye countries, but every country has this sort of structure, you know, has this pyramidal military industrial complex structure. And then there's basically there's already world government. You know, people think we live in a sovereign nation, but there's already an oligarchy. You know, there's people in the CFR, the Bilderberg Group, you know, the Rothschilds and everything like that. That's for real. Those things are for real. Another but what Shay, yeah, try melatonin. So what do you mean, like when you say we need to, what does the other TI mean when he says we need to approach it from a business law angle? Like get a business lawyer to look into the finances of contractors and then sue them on the basis of like fraudulent activities, or just to find out where the money's flowing. Okay, Joanne, I sleep more peacefully when I play scriptural recordings too. Self-contented, chasing court cases are a waste of time. We can expose the darkness by being light. We have to be salt and light. Well, yeah, self-contented, we've got to be the light. You know, we've got to get information out, but we've got to do everything else too. I think some people in this, we get into this thing of this is the way to do it. This is the way it is. It's a this or that thing. This is not a this or that problem. This is a throw everything against the friggin' wall. Throw the spaghetti against the wall and let's see what sticks. And as we do, see, people are going, they're trying to get class action suits going, which may or may not be successful. But that journey of doing those class action suits and getting people behind that and getting awareness out, because you know the whole flyer scandal in Texas, those people, like this program was very, very scared of targeted justice, tried to frame them up. So class action suits going along are going to help any kind of other information getting out. They're going to help getting awareness out into the mainstream media. These things play off of each other. We've got to start doing everything because it'll play off of this and this will play off of that. It's not an either or thing. Like I hear some targeted individuals on conference calls and they're like, okay, guys, what we need to do, we need to, they say, my case is really solid. It's a solid case and I've got evidence and everything. And we just need to put everybody's money behind this one case. We just need to put everybody's money behind my case and really support that. and just put all of our eggs in the one basket. And I disagree with that completely. I don't think we need to just be focused on one pathway. We need to be focused on everything. Passing out flyers, doing videos on every platform. You know, BitChute and WeTube and you know, I'm about to, I think, make a Twitter account just to get it out. But then and what else? Did I already say flyers? I think I already said flyers. And then trying to do class action suits, trying to get in touch with senators and representatives, because I think we're going to have a Senate investigative committee when it gets far enough along where they're like, okay, you know, I think they're really too scared to do a Senate investigative committee. We got to try all these different things, all of them. And that's why it's important that whatever talent you have, that's what you got to throw in, because there are going to be some people who are more talented in getting class action suits together in the law. There's going to be some people who don't give an F and will make a bunch of videos, you know, no matter how bad they feel. I feel like I'm a person like that. Like right now, my brain is like barely works, or it feels that way. But then once I start talking, it feels a whole lot better. I'm like, oh wow, okay, which is a weird feeling. It's like when I'm isolated, I feel a lot stupider, and then I start talking, and it's like it's breaking entrainment, you know, talking and thinking of new things and stuff like that. It's breaking some of this entrainment. Yeah, self-contented said, don't drink Red Bull. It's disgusting. I agree. I'm just so like. I'm so tired. Like I always need to. I take kratom, CBD oil, this Curamin stuff. Like I'm always taking something like a supplement or an energy drink or caffeine to keep going. And I know it's not good, but I don't. It's like survival. It's like I just like even these electronic cigarettes. I know I need to stop, and I think that if I wasn't targeted, I'd be like, okay, well I can stop because like, you know, I'm healthy and stuff like that. And I don't need to do this, but it's just something to get my attention off of being murdered 24 hours a day, and especially off of the 24-hour-a-day chatterbox. That would be kind of fun. Let's do that right now. Let me, the chatterbox V2K is a little bit muffled because I just did a night of listening to Dave Case's CD, but I'll tell y'all some of the things they're saying right now. Okay, so the woman's voice, so there's shift workers, there's a woman's voice and a man's voice all the time. And it's changed through my targeting. It used to be 3 people, 2 guys and a girl, and then it changed to 2 girls and 2 guys, and now it's one woman and 1 man. All the different places that I've moved to, it's kind of changed. So right now, the woman said, I can't do this anymore. And then she said, and I hear her voice more, because her voice is it's higher pitch. So the guy's voice is kind of hard to hear sometimes because it's very muffled because it's low. So they really like when my V2K is kind of low, when I'm using Dave Case's CD and stuff, they get her to say a lot of stuff, or they get the chatterbox, the automated software to say things that she's saying. But right now she said, I can't do this anymore. Then she said, turn it off. And then he said, I can't see. It's muffled what he's saying. Oh, he's saying he's weird. He's weird. We got to put him away. He says, I'm tired. And that's one thing. I don't know if you guys, hey, Autumn. Hey, how you doing? I'm just testing out live stream right now. I've never done a live stream, and I was trying to do the screen sharing, but I think I'm gonna have to go through Google Hangouts. And then some people came, and you know, we're just hanging out and talking. But I'm trying to listen to my V2K. If anybody has V2K on here, like Audible, I call it Audible V2K, and somebody jumped on me for saying that one time because it's just V2K where it sounds like I can hear it with my ear. I know that there's some people call just the inner voice stuff V2K, but I call the V2K something that you can hear with your inner ear, like that's microwave hearing to the brain and then sends a signal down to the inner ear. And then I call like the inner voice stuff, I call that synthetic telepathy. Hey, thank you, Joanna. I think we all, like, guys, I'm not that smart. Like, and especially with my brain being microwaved, I'm not that smart. I just go get documentation. I just say how I feel. I think we're at the point where everybody should be doing YouTube videos. Like every targeted individual, even if you don't want to show your face or something like that. And I know some people, like, they're hurting so bad that it's hard for them to do anything. I get that. But I really think we're at a point where people basically know that this is happening. So you don't have to really worry about being crazy. And there are a lot of situations like right after the JFK assassination, there was this guy, I forgot his name, Mark Lane. Mark Lane put out this like a video about, it was called Rush to Judgment. And he was like one of the only people talking about the conspiracy. And so he came out first, and some people were like, oh man, he's crazy or whatever. But now today, everybody knows that it was a conspiracy. We're past the point of like a few people speaking out and people calling them crazy. We're at a point where people know that this is happening. People that have researched it all, but they just don't know what to do. Like I was talking to my dad the other day. He came over, we went and had lunch, but he almost died from being attacked. He had an aneurysm, and now he has aneurysms all over his body. It was after my 33rd birthday. He started getting the high-pitched sound in his head. And I told him that this time. I was like, I think you're being targeted, Dad. I think they almost killed you. And he's like, well, I wish I knew how to take it away from you, but God has a reason for this. We don't know what it is. But he says, I feel really helpless on it. And he's a very capable guy. Like my mom and dad are very capable people, but they're kind of like, well, what do we do about this? So you have a lot of people out in society that are like, yeah, I think people are being experimented on, but what can I do? We've got to find what. Yeah, I have self-contented as my left ear is loud ringing. I have a little bit of ringing, and it sounds kind of like it's on the outside of my ears because I listen to Dave Case's CD. Like if I don't listen to Dave Case's CD for a couple of days, it just feels like my head's gonna explode it's both ears, and then sometimes it'll be like a shot, like it'll be like a 15-second loud ring into the right ear, like feels like it's like shooting sound into my ear. Yeah, try to record it self-contented. The problem is though, a lot of this is microwave hearing. It's a microwave signal hitting the brain, and then your inner ear is getting it. So you can't record anything on the outside. You can record it if you have like a microphone that picks up extremely low frequencies or extremely high frequencies. It has to be a special mic. WavePad, Joanne? Okay, WavePad. I'm going to download Wave. I'm going to write that down. Type that down on the phone. And I wanted to tell everybody. I wanted to tell everybody real quick. I never checked on my YouTube videos. I never checked the likely spam. It never had a number by it. So there were numbers by the comments, and then numbers by the second one or whatever. But there were never numbers by the likely spam. And so I'm going through that, and there are 2,000. There are 2,000 likely spam. I have a lot of it. I have like 900 and something videos, so maybe an average of like 3 per video. Some of them are just like, hey, take vitamin C. Vitamin C can help you out. Some of them had like really good links and everything like that. So I don't know why they were likely spam, but I did not know. I did not know that they were just filling up in there. So I'm going through right now and getting all those approved. So if you had a comment like any of my videos, and then it just disappeared for some reason, you know, that's probably the reason. I'm trying to go through and get all those out there. But then I saw this guy, Neil Dale, and he's a community-placed agent. Like, he literally gets like a paragraph of like crazy talk where he's just like, nobody listen to Kyle because Kyle's getting your names and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But then before he was like, oh, Kyle doesn't know, targeting is such a lie, and my brother believes in it and stuff like that. But then he'll get these little paragraphs and he'll put them on like every video. He'll post them on like 20 to 30 videos. I literally 700 of the comments that were likely spam were Neil Dale's. Like, they went into that likely spam, like 700. It's crazy. Like, that guy is insane. So if you have a channel and you see him, like, you don't have to delete his comments, but that guy is definitely a community-placed agent. It really like it upsets me because a lot of them were great links and great supplement advice or good defense advice. And it's also important, like when I watch a YouTube video, I go to the comments to see to get the pulse of what people are thinking that are watching those videos. And I think we need that too. We need good comments, and we need people saying, yes, this is happening, so that when somebody regular comes along, or a non-directly targeted person, because I think everybody's targeted in the world basically right now, you know, when they come along, they can see good comments and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get those out of the spam thing. So I'm going to get WavePad. Yeah, I got to get, I got something. I got this little microphone. I forgot what it's called, but then I moved, and it was like a little tiny microphone that was supposed to pick up ELF, but I couldn't get the software downloaded. I got to make another try at that. I got to get some measurements on my videos and get, you know, like that guy, Look Out for Charlie. If y'all haven't Look Out for Charlie's videos, he actually does. He records some of the V2K and actually gets some sounds that sounds like they're saying stuff. It's not very clear, but he does a pretty good job with it. It's a WavePad. Let me write that down. WavePad. Yeah, I want to get some more, you know, recording proof, like recording the frequencies. I did a little bit of that in my other condo. Like, I had James Lyko gave me an old Android phone or something like that, and I was getting recordings off of there, but I want to get a better, you know, get a trimeter. I just, my hesitancy. Hey, is that Chloe? Hey, Chloe. Okay, I'll check it out. I don't check my Facebook much, but I'll check it out. Why are you up so early? Like, I woke up at like 3:30, and I just wanted to check how live stream works, and I've never live streamed anything. Y'all are part of my first live stream, and hopefully we'll have many more. You know, and I can share my screen, and we can just go through documentation. Y'all can ask questions. I think that'd be a better way at this point for me, because I don't really want to write anything out. Like, I don't want to write like an outline of what I want to talk about. And, you know, like, the problems with my memory and my brain are becoming very pronounced. I think I do pretty good with masking it with just, you know, with just talking and kind of rambling on. I do pretty good, but I think it'd be better if we can go through documentation, and then some of you guys can ask good questions, and then we can go through those questions. It would just help everything to flow better, and to get better information. Y'all might see something in the information, you know, that I'm not seeing, and you know, it'd be a whole lot better. Hey, Ann. Hi, Kyle. I've been awake since 1:30 a.m., woken up by sick mind handlers of V2K and RM. Yeah, I woke up at like 3:30 a.m. Just, I had to get up because my hips, there was like electrical pain. just electrical pain down my hips and my back. And I'm telling y'all, like, I know I put that on a video, but it's weird how if you're getting pulsing pain that's from remote neural manipulation, if you do something like pinch yourself or something like that, it does actually redirect the signal. Like, it doesn't do it completely. And if you stop, it goes back to actually pulsing pain. But it's so weird how it works, very, very weird. So Joanna said, just persist, Kyle. My connections drop out and get rerouted all the time. Yeah. Yeah. You can pinch your skin or dig your nail into your in your finger. That's very scary. That actually changes the pathway to your nervous system, because what I think, and I know this may not make sense, but with my attackers, I think that's a huge justification that they use. They're like, well, it's not real pain. It's not like we're stabbing him in the back. We're just sending a signal to his brain, and then it's sending a pulse of pain down his back. Now, they hit me with external microwaves, and that's hardcore, just hardcore real pain. But I think they're kind of justifying stuff in the mind that isn't true. They're saying, oh, we're just sending a signal to the brain, and then it gives them pain, it makes them feel pain, so it's not real. But that's not true, because it's really damaging nerves and blood vessels and muscles. What they're doing, it's microwave pulses that are flowing to the brain. So I think these people, like, they have this double think, like, from 1984. And any targeted individual or survivor of this non-consensual human experimentation, if you have not read 1984, read it, because it feels like we're in an even scarier situation than 1984. Steel Ninja, whacking off helps. He asks if whacking off helps. Guess I'm not going to answer that. But hey, Steel Ninja, how are you doing? Shay, you can record your Steel Ninja says, I like turtles. I like turtles. Shay says you can record your outline or thoughts with a microphone with a microphone function in many note apps. Okay, thanks, Shay. Read 1984. Steel Ninja says Kyle for president. I don't want to be president of anything. I'm actually very uncomfortable even making videos. Like, from the beginning, I get real nervous because you're putting up something that's going to be there for a long time. So if you say something that's just kind of your thoughts, like you're just spitting out kind of thoughts and you're just talking about something, somebody can like get you on something little that you say and be like, oh, well, he thinks this, even if you're just kind of thinking things through. So I really don't like it, but it's necessary. Like 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, well, we just got to start talking about it. I called the police 1,000,000 times at my house, and then they eventually said that they were going to, put me in jail if I called them again. I called the FBI. The FBI said that they were doing an investigation, but I could never learn anything about it. And then I called the inspector general, and then that's when an ex-FBI agent in the coroner's office called me, said he understood everything that I was talking about, said, come into the emergency room. We just want to get you checked out physically. We know all this stuff. We know all this stuff about non-ionizing microwave radiation. And then they caught me. They put me in the mental institution. So I got set up. And then I was like, well, okay, well, I'll just speak out on YouTube. And I don't call the police now. Like, has anybody called the police lately and had any success with them? I think that if I had somebody, like if somebody broke into my place and broke something and did something very concrete, then I would call the police. But my attackers do everything very, very subtle. They just, the directed energy weapon system, like mutilation of my body, is not subtle. It's just murder. It's just straight up murder, and then just raping my mind 24 hours a day. Thanks, Steel Ninja. I think you're a cool dude too. Shay, okay, so Shay says, yeah, Autumn says 1984 is light comparison to this torture. I agree. Like if it was just the outside of our bodies, like and not our brains, not like the electromagnetic functions of our brain and our nervous system, it was somebody like stabbing us with a knife in the arm or something to tortures, that'd be a lot better. Because I mean, who knows what kind of damage they're doing to the brain, to the brain's electrical function. And I hope that it's just I hope that it's temporary. Like I hope that, I mean, because like sometimes when it's a little bit better, I feel like I'm healing up a little bit, but certain things like certain memories are like gone completely. And I wonder if they stopped the bidirectional stream of energy to my brain and my nervous system, could I go completely back, to normal? I guess we won't know until it happens. So Shay says, I record important thoughts before I forget them, then email to several locations in case hackers delete them. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. So sorry they tried to keep me in. Yeah. So Shay says, wow, so sorry about that. They tried to keep me in psych ward at local hospital. I don't trust police anymore. Yeah, I don't either. I know there's some good ones out. See, this is what I think. I've actually been hit by somebody in a K9 unit sheriff car. I was running along a certain four-lane highway, and I got hit in the leg by a ground weapon. So some of these guys, some law enforcement have ground weapons, and they may assist in hitting people while they're out. I know I get vehicularly stalked by them, but I do think, I don't know. What do y'all think? I do think there are policemen that don't know. They don't know that there's experimentation going on with microwaves. And they think that maybe with vehicular stalking or something like that, that they're just driving around people of interest and things like that. They're working for DHS fusion centers. So I think that there are some that don't know. There are good cops that if you call them, they won't know what you're talking about with being targeted, and they'll probably like think you're crazy or something, but they might try and help you out at least, help you if it's something very obvious. But a lot of people say that I'm dumb for thinking that. They're like, you can't trust cops at all. You can't trust any of them. I do. I still think there are white hats out there. I think there are white hats in the FBI. There are white hats in law enforcement. There are white hats in government. There are white hats in local government. I think there aren't any white hats in the CIA. I think if you're in the CIA, you're willing to do bad stuff. But I think there are white hats. I think that the problem is they don't know what to do. They've signed all these secrecy agreements and things like that. And then low-level cops have no power at all to stop it. Like they have no power whatsoever to help with any of this. Even the ones who don't know about it and are good guy cops. I'm getting kind of tired, guys. I guess I'll keep this running to 2 hours because y'all seem to be having, just chatting and stuff like that. I really wish I could share my screen though. I'm going to get that set up so I can share my screen and go through documentation. Y'all can't see my screen, can y'all? Like y'all can y'all see this? Like somebody put, no, y'all can't. Can y'all see it when I bring Google up? I bet y'all can't. I worked at Dell for like 6 or 7 years. And you'd think I'd know technology better. I used to be able to figure stuff out on the computer really quick, but this has slowed me down. Like the microwaves have kind of slowed me down. When I got my webcam set up and used the screen sharing thing, it took me a little while to figure it out and everything. So Autumn, no use to call the police if we don't have it. Yeah, no use to call the police if we don't have evidence. That's true. And the problem with meter readings and stuff like that, cops really don't. They won't accept that as evidence. Actually, I was talking to my parents, and I've said this on videos. I think I have an implant somewhere along in here. It's either in this tooth, this top tooth right here, the second to the back, or over here. And I'm really trying to try and find. I want to find a doctor who could maybe image it, and then find a doctor who can take it out. Target individuals have said that they can, they've been able to get some of the implants out. I think that if I did that and had the implant in hand, then maybe I would do like an individual case. I'd definitely put it on. I don't know if I had an individual court case, I don't know if I could show it on YouTube, the implant, but I really want to look for that. I just don't know, like, because a targeted individual a little while back, like a week ago, said that he got one of his implants taken out, but I think he may have just been saying it. I don't think he really did. I think he was just kind of telling a tall tale. Shay, they do. I know many cops are unaware, but I experienced ground weapons in Atlanta, New York. Yeah, I did too. I've been hit with ground weapons. The canine unit sheriff hit me in the leg, and it was very powerful. It like hit me in the thigh, and like I started limping right away. It was like a very, very extremely powerful ground weapon. So they do use ground weapons. I think that I agree with Richard Lighthouse that when we're getting hit 24 hours a day, they have this grid system set up. They may supplement it with ground weapons, but the stuff that you're getting hit with 24 hours a day it's from a grid. It's satellite to cell tower to us, like we're the cell phone, or maybe drones and over the horizon radar. I think they've got such a grid set up that they don't need to be passing out tons of ground weapons to your neighbors who really don't know a lot about this. So I think that this is my opinion, or where my research has led me, that in all probability, it's not your neighbors. They may have a ground weapon or something, but then there are a lot of target individuals that say, in all probability, it is your neighbors. So the way that I think that we're going to get that resolved is to learn more about get specific documentation of how it's done, specific proof of how it's done. So we're just going to have to keep digging, and hopefully some people, maybe whistleblowers. Yeah, I don't know how easy it's going to be to get whistleblowers who are with these contractors, because like if they do come out and say something, then they go to jail for a long time. So I don't know how easy that's going to be. But just to get more concrete information, as we go. So Joanne, God bless you, Kyle. People here feel less alone in this horrific battle, at least for now. So thanks, and thank you, Joanne, for coming. Yeah, I really wasn't planning on, doing a long video. I was just testing it out. I feel like this does, like, for people who, and you don't have to do videos. Like if you don't want to get on YouTube and do videos, that's understandable. But this really helps me. Like today when I woke up, like I felt like my brain wasn't working. I'm like, oh man, it's just another day where I'm going to barely be able to sit up and stay up. And then I do this, and it's like, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm talking to y'all and I'm talking about this. My brain's kind of, it's kind of getting out of the entrainment a little bit, and I feel better. You feel a lot better when you start doing stuff against this. Like when you start doing some kind of activism, maybe blogging, or doing a bunch of Twitter posts, or going around to alternative news videos and writing that you're a targeted individual. I think that's something we really need to do. We need to go around to these guys who are talking about New World Order, Alex Jones videos. I know he's not on YouTube, but people still post his stuff. We need to be going to these comment threads and just saying, hey, I'm a targeted individual. Please cover directed energy weapon systems. People are dying from this. They're being tortured and experimented on. We just need to be putting that out on every video. Like even CNN videos on YouTube. Just go into the comment thread and put it in there. So implanted and tortured, Chloe, have you become a member of Targeted Justice? Do you plan on joining in on the class action lawsuit they keep promising to do? Yeah, I signed up with Doug Cruz, and then I'm trying Midge is so busy, and I keep saying, hey, I need to call you and we need to talk about that. So I signed up with him, but there's so many people in there, and she has to a lot of people really want individual attention. So she's dealing with a lot of people, and I think I'm signed up, but I haven't gotten my cards or anything like that. And I'm gonna get the little business cards that they have, because I think a lot of people are like, class action suit's never gonna work. I don't care. I don't care about that. It's the journey of doing it. And that guy Jack Cristiano, looking into the law, seeing it's this journey of how do we do this? Like, who do we go to for their expertise? What kind of lawyers? Let's look for lawyers. Doing all that stuff is learning. It's learning and going even further, even if the class action suit is not ultimately successful, which I pray to God that it will be. I pray to God that we can get this to the Supreme Court. And the higher that it goes, the higher that the class action suit goes, even if it doesn't get that far, it'll get the attention of some mainstream media outlets or maybe senators or representatives and stuff like that. More awareness. So these things, even if they're ultimately not as successful as we want them to be, they're still feeding into the whole project of bringing this. The guy just said we've got to. So we've got to. I don't care. Because the woman before that said, she said, what did she say? She said, I don't want to do this anymore. And then he said, got to do this. Got to put him away. They just say the same stuff over and over. That's why they have a chatterbox software, but it's so freakish how, and they do live injection sometimes, like V2K, real time, but most of the time it's this chatterbox, and it's very, very scary how the software puts it into a conversational format. So one person will talk, and then the other person will talk, and then they'll talk back. That's scary software. When people talk about AI, I think about that, how it can because this isn't manually, it's not like my attackers are putting these phrases manually into an audio thing and then playing it. It's a software that makes it sound like a conversation. And that's scary, Self-contented, I'm grateful for this live stream. What was I talking about before that, guys? The class action suit. I think all these things, they may not be ultimately successful individually. They may be. I'm hoping and praying that they will be, but it's part of the process. It's part of busting the dam. It's all part of busting the dam. So we need to do class action suits. We need to join up and put the numbers behind it. Put the numbers behind it. Then we've got to just be putting out, just document after document after document after document. So people who still are like, oh, I don't know if I want to believe those targeted individuals. They sound, they're being gang stalked and followed by the government. But if we just show document after document after document, we connect the dots. At a certain point, they can't say, oh, well, that's all just, fabricated or anything like that. They can't say that anymore. And I was really, Kyle, I do that. What do you do, Autumn? Did you sign the petition targeted in Ireland about stopping this program? No. Where can I find that, Autumn? Where can we go to get the petition? Yeah, Chatterbox. Spook. Oh, Chloe, your perps called you a she-devil and a monster. Mine don't really. Sometimes they'll when it's really low, because Dave Case's CD affects it. And then what I've been doing lately, I want to tell y'all what I've been doing lately, because my chatterbox almost drives me insane. So what I do is I turn on my phone or my computer. I'll play YouTube videos. I've been watching some documentaries on Watergate and JFK to learn how they talk about it, to convince people of what's really going on, But I'll put my headphones on, and then I have my PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 4, and I hook the headphones into there. So I've got headphones of whatever's, some documentaries or something, and then I put another an earbud for my PlayStation 4 in my right ear, so that I have these different voices that I choose. So I get to choose the voices. So then my V2K will be pushed back, like it'll be really pushed back. And if I'm doing that, the male voices on the V2K will be like, kill yourself, fuck you, man, to test the levels. So they're testing if I can see it. I mean, if I can hear it, not see it. They start testing out if I can hear it, if it's being pushed back. And that's hard to explain. It's like the V2K is still going on, but I'm not. My perceptions are hearing the documentary on the headphones and then the noises from the video game. And I've been doing that a lot, and it really helps. It's external stimulus. External stimulus is so important, guys. Like if you like to read, if you like to look at magazines, if you like to cook or do something that takes your attention, or talk, I know that we're isolated, but like I went and had lunch with my dad the other day, and I got an awesome sirloin steak, Chili's. It was actually a good steak from Chili's. But we were talking and stuff like that. And when I'm talking to my dad and he's talking back to me, then I'm not perceiving the V2K. It's like still going on, but it's very hard. This is new territory. I know that people have been getting V2K for a long time, but we've really got to find out ways. We're pioneers in adaptation. Like we've got to figure out ways how to not let this drive us crazy and fight it and push it back on like awareness level and trial levels. But we've also got to learn how to adapt our bodies to this stuff, because this stuff, electromagnetic frequencies, directed energy, it's going to be flying around us. I don't think this technology is going away. I think that our only chance at stopping this is that people are aware of how dangerous the technology is. There start to be, what do you call them? Like people to watchdog the technology, but I don't think it's going to go away. I don't think this technology is going to be destroyed. Just like you're not going to get iPhones out of people's hands. The only chance we have is awareness, and I'm having trouble finding words right now, but oh gosh, yeah, watchdog groups to like say you can't kill people with this, you can't shoot it at people, and if you do, we've got these methods to say they are being hit, and then you can prove that. So all these methods are going to have to evolve, of like how if somebody's using this, like our attackers are using it, then we can find out through these methods of detection and triangulation. I think triangulation is something people say that they can triangulate. Like a lot of target individuals are like, okay, well, I got my trimeter and I know it's coming from that direction, and so that's triangulation. I disagree with that. I disagree with that completely. You're just getting direction. We've got to learn how to triangulate it to whatever cell tower it's coming from, and then triangulate it back to whoever's whoever's sending that signal from a satellite to the cell tower or stuff like that. And I think the methods for doing that are becoming better and better, but I don't think this technology is just going to go away ever. But I think that this program of experimenting on people at random, I think that is inevitable, that it will stop. That is inevitable that will stop. Kyle, you may need to get some rest in a few minutes. Yeah, I am. I'm kind of getting tired. They all say they hit me in the jaw. So like if I talk too long, I get like, I'll start kind of slurring my words and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm really bored. I've just been playing a lot of video games lately to keep my mind off of this, and doing a little bit of research. I'm trying to, does anybody have any like really good any really good articles or like really important things? Like I got some stuff from this guy named Josh, but I can't download it. I'm still trying to, he sent me like a bunch of documentation on on the AI, the kind of AI that they're using with this that I'm going to do a video about, and then the GPS tracking, you know, the actual grain of rice size GPS tracking chips that they're putting in like almost everybody. Let's see, Tomahawk. I'm gonna read Pashao. Yup, video games help to focus on something else. Constant com check also. Yeah, Pashao. I'm playing one. It's really well. What did I play that's really good lately? Played it's this yeah, there's brain. It's so much trouble thinking. The Nathan Drake thing, the Uncharted, and they came out with like an Uncharted Legacy, which has one of the kind of side characters in the main games, and it's really awesome. Like the graphics are really cool. So I've been playing that lately. It really does get my mind off of this. And then just like watching stuff about Watergate and Woodward and Bernstein, you know, how they kind of broke all those stories. So Shay, okay, so Autumn, I'll post another link about declassify remote neural monitoring petition. Yes, definitely Autumn. And I can put that in one of my videos too. If there's any kind of, if there's any kind of petitions or anything, like I can just take time out of, you know, videos at the beginning and just talk about those and give everybody the links. Post another link. Okay. Tomahawk says Dave K's CD totally works for me. Blocks the high tone frequencies my perps are hitting me with. Anyone tried it? Yes, Tomahawk. Like I tell people all the time. Like I think people get sick of it. Tell me if you guys write it in the chat. Do y'all get sick of me saying try Dave Case's CD all the time? It's just it works. It works. The science is that they're hooking up to our brain and our nervous system like a radio receiver. So if you're not on entraining, they just get deeper and deeper into that entrainment. Deep entrainment, then they can do stuff to your heart and your lungs and stuff like that. So Dave Case's CD has similar frequencies that are not harmful, and it confuses their system. It confuses the directed energy weapon system. Like I don't have to deal with the tinnitus-like sound anymore. Like I hear it a little bit, but it doesn't hurt, and it's kind of just like a little annoying high-pitched sound that I don't really notice that much. Before Dave Case's CD, like I could not do anything. I was bedridden, and I was just like clutching my head. It felt like my head was going to bust open. So it's scientifically sound unentrainment. You know, use other things too, like pleasing music, binaural beats. There's some other stuff that makes the right and the left side of the brain work together that I've been trying, but I can't think of the name of it because I can't think very good right now, very well right now. Sorry. But unentrainment, I would say, is a priority, guys. I mean, I know that our bodies are in pain from external hits, but I'm telling you, to unentrain is the most important thing because they can make you like, because they're doing these remote neural manipulation protocols and they're trying to jack into your brain and your nervous system, and they're just trying to push forward with that, so that it can make you put some impulses in your head, put visuals in your head, make you emotionally feel very dark, and like take away your sense of well-being, mess with your thyroid and your endocrine system. You know, so I think unentraining is like one of the main priorities, and Dave Case's CD is the best thing that I found. So Tomahawk is definitely right on that one. And so Pashal documentary, do you trust this computer? So, okay, so Pashal is recommending a documentary, do you trust this computer? Okay, I got to check that out. Self-contented, pray against the tech they abuse you with as it causes them to go out of sync. Yeah, praying helps. Praying helps. I'm a Christian who I'm into faith in action. You know, I don't think that, you know, you can pray for protection the Holy Spirit to protect you, then you've got to take action. You've got to use things in this world to defend yourself. And I feel like you pray like, God, please protect me in the name of Jesus Christ. And then you put that faith into action. You say, okay, I'm going to find some material, some passive defenses. I'm going to look for something to unentrain. I'm going to try some techniques of external stimuluses and everything. And then God helps you there. But it starts with faith. Any kind of activity starts with faith and belief. If you start out, like if we start out with this, and I get this way sometimes, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Sometimes I'm like, is this going to be till I die? Like I ask myself that question. In my most doubtful, dark times, I say, we're not going to be able to do this. These people are too corrupt. People are too mind controlled. They don't care if it's not happening to them. I don't really believe that. Those are my depressed thoughts about it. My real thoughts are that this is inevitable. This is inevitable when I logically think it through and I believe. It's really important, guys. And I know it may not, I think a lot of people are like, oh, what's belief going to do for me? What's faith going to do for me? And then they start saying things like, this is going to get worse. There's no way this stuff's coming out. Well, that's what belief is going to do for you. It's going to change your thinking on that. So you start working for this to end. And then you're going to do better things. You're going to do a lot better things. And this is a small channel, guys. My YouTube channel, it's pretty small. I mean, I've gotten a couple of thousand views on some of the main ones, but mostly like a couple of hundred views on average. But you don't know who's seeing those. You don't know if it's a targeted individual who's in trouble and they get some information that helps them out, or you don't know if it's somebody from alternative news who picks up some of this information and says, whoa, I've got to report it. Because there's a lot of alternative news that are out there, reporting our situation. So I'm telling you, if you think like, well, I'm not going to make YouTube videos because it's just too small, that is not true at all, man. Some of the biggest thing has come. Oh, that's the Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm going to nerd out on y'all. Some of the biggest things come from small beginnings. Is that Lord of the Rings or another movie? I don't know. I was going to do a video. Guys, I was going to just do a video with screen sharing. I don't know if it'd get taken down for copyright, but I wanted to show like all the movies that I have in my head when I think about this. Like, in Lord of the Rings, when Theoden is saying, how did it come to this? Like, how did it come to this? What can any man do against such something evil, since such evil? And then Aragorn says, ride out with me. I like that. That pumps me up. And he's like, ride out with me. Like even if you, and I think that this is inevitable, but even if you're a targeted individual that's like, we can't do this. This is impossible. Ride out. Let's die fighting. Let's die fighting. And then there's another video. I guarantee a lot of you have probably seen this and connect with it. In Gladiator, where at the end he's about to fight the Emperor. I think I'm going to do it. They may take it down for copyright, but in Gladiator, he's like about to fight the Emperor, and the Emperor like stabs him in the back so that he bleeds out, and he's like, conceal the wound, armor him up, conceal the wound, and he makes him fight him at the end, but he still beats the Emperor. And I think we all feel like that. Like that's what I feel like when I go outside. And like there's this young guy at my condo who is like hardcore gang stalking, I had a bunch of older people, and they were very, very subtle to where I didn't even really care. I was like, whatever, you're going to walk past me at the same time every day. I don't give a shit. But this guy, he's a younger guy, and I don't even think he was out of high school. And he came home on a Saturday with like a bunch of files, like a folder and stuff like that. Came home with a one light car parked in the parking lot. And then I went out like 30 minutes later, and he comes in his car. He got back in his car, and he drove around me in the parking lot, like drove physically around me, like hardcore gang stalking me. And my point is on that, I kind of want to tell some more about that. My point is that we're basically bleeding out, And then we've got to walk out and confront all these POSs who think that they're, you know, helping in their community or whatever. And we're in a weakened state. I mean, that's what they try and do. They're trying to microwave us. So then we have to walk outside and we look messed up. Well, I mean, you know, I guess some people, they can't really tell, but there are a lot of gang stalkers who do the sniffing thing to me. Like they'll go like that. And I think that they're trying to signal, or it's part of my gang stalking to say like, oh, you're on drugs or something like that. So I kind of that Gladiator, you know, those scenes where he's like, conceal the wound, armor him up and conceal the wound. That's what they're doing with us. They couldn't fight us if they kept us healthy. We make all these people look stupid who are gang stalking us. So they have to microwave us hardcore so that we can barely think. And then we kind of look like we're, you know, whatever, paranoid or anxious. And then they can look better. You know, they can puff out their chests and they're, you know, taking care of, you know, whatever they think we are. Oh, but I wanted to say this. That same guy, like I went to walk my dog and he came out at the exact same time and he was like sitting in his car. My nose really itches, guys. I'm sorry for rubbing my nose. Anything that looks like a gang stalking thing, I'm not doing it for that reason. I touch my face a lot because I'm nervous. Yeah, hit the button, guys. Don't subscribe. Like if you go to a targeted individual, next says, guys, don't forget to hit the button. Yeah, if you go to a targeted individuals channel like Next or mine or Targeted in Ireland or something like that, make sure you're subscribed to all of them because we want to push all these channels up into the algorithms. I do think that YouTube probably is messing around with the algorithms and hiding targeted individual videos somewhat, but we got to do just everything that we can to push us up into the whatever algorithm generator or however they do it. But I wanted to tell y'all, like I usually don't react to gang stalkers. I usually just ignore, and I found that stops it more. My electronics corps and DHS fusion servers have less justification. So then I just get the vehicular stalking when I ignore the on the ground, like the people who walk around you and stuff, the Walking Dead basically. But this guy, hardcore gang stalking me. I go outside to walk my dog. He comes out at the same time, just goes and sits with his car open, one headlight on, listening to music, just sitting there in his car while I'm walking my dog. And so like I walk by his car and I have my phone like this, and I kind of point it to him, and then I pointed at him and he's just kind of looking at me and I'm just kind of looking at him, kind of nodding, and then I start doing this. I start going, having my phone up. I was doing it really, really subtle. It was awesome. I was like looking at my phone, and then I was like just walking by and flipping him off. And I haven't seen him after that. Like I haven't seen him for a couple of days. So I think that he was misinformed, given completely wrong intelligence that I'm some crazy guy or whatever. And I made him look like an idiot. And then he just kind of backed off. He's like, what am I getting involved in? Because he's like a guy that's barely out of high school. So sometimes you can like make them feel like, whoa, what am I doing? And some gang stalkers will back off. Not all of them, but Tomahawk, I find that I get attacked less if I don't protect myself with mylar or metal, etc. Copper band or magnets help a lot. Yeah, I have to agree, Tomahawk. The deal is like, this is the deal. If this was like for 6 months, like the targeting lasted 6 months and I knew that it lasted 6 months and I used the defenses that I use, I would be sitting really pretty for those 6 months. But because this just goes on and on and on and they adapt to some of it, it's like, since I'm using my Faraday bunker, Dave Case's CD, and grounding, they're doing some weird, they switch up the frequencies, and then they have to use this protocol of like pulsing pain in my back. They have to use specific frequencies to get through some of this stuff. Sometimes it does kind of bite you in the ass, but it's like, what would it be like if I didn't defend? Then I'd probably be getting externally hit really bad, and they'd be just driving my mind insane. they'd be hitting me externally with microwaves if I didn't use my Faraday bunker. So then they have to use more remote neural manipulation on me because they can't get external hits. They can get external hits through the Faraday bunker, but not as well as they would if I did use it. So it's kind of a, it's a really, I would defend. Like I would try and defend as much as you can, because at least you're getting your attackers, like you have some time of relief, and they do adapt to stuff. My attackers have even adapted somewhat to Dave Case's CD. And I don't know how they've done this, but a little bit. Like the Dave Case's CD still helps, still stops the tinnitus-like sound. Some of the pain that they do with remote neural manipulation isn't just quashed out. So they've used specific frequencies, and they've had years and years, because I've been using Dave Case's CD for like 2.5, 3 years. They've had 3 years to play with the frequencies while I'm asleep, while I'm listening to the CD, monitor my pain levels or whatever through EEGs and what my brain is showing, I think. They've had a lot of time. It took them about 2 years to even adapt to Dave Case's CD in any way. Yeah, I do kind of find that. And what's really weird, guys, well, I guess I won't talk about that right now. Depends on the torture. Yeah, it depends on the torture. Autumn says it depends on the torture. Yeah, this is group therapy. That's why, like, a lot of you guys, if y'all don't go to the conference calls, go to them. I'm kind of, like, honest. I'll just be honest with y'all. I've been on conference calls and I've moderated some of them for a while. But it's just seen, and some good information gets passed around, and Ella does some great interviews, and everybody's doing a lot of hard work. I just feel like it's a constant cycle of people, like new targeted individuals who don't know what's going on. And so we kind of stay in the same place on the conference calls, to me. There's always a person who's just like, I know nothing about this, and then we've got to take, the whole call to like go through basic stuff, and it keeps going like that. And so like there's this guy, I guarantee a lot of you have watched his videos. What's his name? Scott. Somebody help me out in chat. An older guy, he has Asperger's, and he's targeted in New York, Buffalo, New York. Scott something. Somebody help me out. Okay, well, I'll wait for that. Tomahawk has some pretty good advice. Anyone press softly on the parts of your body until you feel a bruise feeling. That's how you know. Scott. Well, Lewis, that's not his name. What? He says Scott Snitcher. What's his real name? Come on, Lewis. What's his real name, man? Hey, Matt. Hey, Dr. Matt. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is my first live stream, and I was going to try to do screen sharing, but I have to go to Google Hangouts. So yeah, I wasn't going to stay on for this long, but people seem to be getting out some good information in chat. How's everything going with you, Dr. Matt? Okay, so it's Scott. What's his name, man? I'm gonna look it up real quick, guys. Okay, well, it's Scott something. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The older, like, I think that he makes great videos, like good advice on supplements, good empowering advice, but he talks shit about the conference calls a lot, which really kind of make me mad. And he says like, oh, well, it's just a cycle. And he says that, like, he says crazy stuff like that the people who moderate the calls have planned to keep people in this trauma bubble, like it's some kind of COINTELPRO to keep people in their trauma, which is just crazy. Like I've been a moderator, and Ella, like I'll fill in for her calls, but it's like happenstance. Like she's just like, okay, well, you're doing videos, you've been a moderator. I just chose to moderate calls. It wasn't like there's no kind of moderator council or anything like that. So it's kind of crazy what he says. I forgot what my point is. I had a point before that, but I get kind of angry at his videos because he says, you know, this isn't going to end. He's like, this isn't going to end. You know, you got to just learn how to get through it and take the supplements. But I'm sitting here and I'm like my body's getting cut apart by microwaves. I can't just say, okay, well, I'll just live with it. I'll just take supplements and I'll just live with it. Like I either have to fight this, either fight this till I die or fight this till it ends. And so I don't really have that decision. I forgot what my point was. I got very distracted. But he does give good supplement advice and everything like that. He's a tough dude. I like that. I don't like it how he, you know, kind of puts down moderators in the conference calls because they are okay. That was my point. Conference calls are good for a lot of things. They're good for coping, getting some information across. The conference calls are really, really necessary. It's just I've been, you know, I've been moderating calls for so long and then staying on there, and there's this kind of feeling of cycle, just staying in the same cycle. And for me, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, I think some people, like, and I'll still go to the conference calls and participate, but I feel like I want to graduate and just shove the information out into the public in other ways. So I don't know, but that's not saying that I don't like the conference calls or anything like that. I don't think I can moderate them anymore. It gets so crazy sometimes, and you know, I'll maybe help Ella out every once in a while. Snitzer. Oh, is that actually how you say his name? Snitzer? Scott Snitzer. Is that really it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he gives good advice, but I don't like how he kind of takes a tone of, you know, they're never gonna end it, you know, and you've got to just kind of get supplementation to work through it. And I can't really, it's like either die fighting this or it ends while I'm fighting it. Those are the two things. And then I'm going to try and balance it with family life and stuff like that, but it's really, really hard. I mean, because we're being murdered. It's not just something that's kind of annoying all the time. Like, I don't know if some target individuals have that level of targeting. Maybe some do. They get gang stalked. They get a little bit of something, but like mine is very obvious, like military grade weaponry all the time, cutting into your body. We're going to do the chatterbox to try and drive you insane. It's a military attack 24 hours a day. So I can't sit, like, I think a lot of us feel this way. We can't just say, okay, well, we'll just live with this. It's never going to end. We can't think that. And that's not an option. That's not an option for me. Scott Snitzer, it is Scott Snitzer. Well, if he's watching this, I think he gives a lot of good advice. A lot of people watch his videos. But I just don't like it how he kind of poo-poos, you know, efforts of other people a little bit. I mean, he has freedom of speech, so, you know, whatever. No, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything. I just think some people do that way too much. They're like, I see a lot of, maybe I won't go into that. I just see a lot of guy TIs mostly. There are some women TIs, but they're just like, I have all the answers and everybody else is doing the wrong thing. Listen to me. I've got all the answers. And I just don't think that way. I think we gotta put everybody's what they're good at, what they know about. You know, like there's this one guy, you know, Patrick Inca Rhodes. He's this great researcher. So you know, now I'm talking to him. He's, you know, doing some good research and giving me things that I could never find. And then I put them out on YouTube. If we use all of our talents and intertwine them and build a big picture, we got to work together. You know, this will happen. It's inevitable. It's just, you know, when it's going to happen. So, Snitzer. The trauma, and saying the trauma of target persons is the treasures of the handlers or abundance of other satanic beings or their favorites. Yeah, I think a lot of people who do this, you know, they do enjoy it. You know, they enjoy the power. And I think a lot of them have sociopathic tendencies, if they're not psychopathic. Some some of them are psychopathic, some of them have sociopathic tendencies, which it bolsters their sociopathic tendencies. So, you know, you'd maybe get somebody who was ex-military, who fought for their country or something like that, and they would have always behaved because they're compliant. But then they start doing this, and they start saying, "Well, I can do this because my country says I can do it. The contractors say I can do it," and they enjoy it more and more, and it becomes like a drug to them. And then some people are just completely psychopathic, you know, and they do it, and you know, they do it and they love it from the beginning, and they want it to do it, and they know it's really wrong. So self-contented says, I don't listen to Scott anymore. I listened about 3 goes, and then he just got repetitive. I probably get repetitive too. I think this is going on so long. Like, it's going on so long. So I've been making videos for like 6 years, and you start repeating stuff. But I think that that's better. Like, and I'll tell y'all, it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I might go ahead and wrap this up. Does this just automatically post next when you do a live stream? Is it's just up on YouTube after you end it? That's cool. Like, I want to do this more. I've actually enjoyed this. It helps me to get my brain going with y'all, like asking questions and just talking to y'all. Like, it helps get my brain going in a different way than just playing video games or listening to videos does. So I really like this. I'll be doing a lot more live streams. Yeah, I think we do get repetitive. I think there's a remote neural manipulation thing where they're kind of like, my brain used to go in a lot more different directions. Like, I could sit there and my brain would just go into these creative directions about like movies I had seen and ideas, philosophy about the universe. And now it seems like, because of remote neural manipulation, my brain is the thinking has been narrowed in a very artificial way. And that's why, like, on my first videos, like, I would just talk about anything and whatever came up, and I was very good at it, like, because my body was being ripped apart, but they hadn't really infested my mind yet. You know, they really hadn't got a hook in with the remote neural manipulation. But now it's like, it kind of narrows you down. I think everybody. I don't mean to talk bad about Scott Snitzer at all. He's making videos and he's giving people good advice on health and supplements and everything. I just think sometimes, like, I guess it's a guy thing. Like, a lot of guy TIs, they're like, I know everything about this. And, this person, they're an agent because they're going at it a different way. And this thing, we're going to have to go at it every which way. What's that movie with Clint Eastwood and the monkey? Every which way. But we can't make it every which way but loose. We got to make it every which way and get loose. Yeah, that was a dumb joke. But yeah, and we are dealing with demons. Yes, we are dealing with demons. I think that okay, so I want to say that I believe that this is spiritual warfare and we're dealing with spiritual wickedness. I don't know what I think about real live demons. I think that it's like they're spiritually wicked, and that's what Satan is. Satan, I think, is the evil in man. And these people are basically worshiping Satan, in whatever different way that they're worshiping Satan and doing evil acts. Just like Christians, a lot of Christians can have kind of differing beliefs spiritually, but they're all working for good. They're all worshiping God. In different religions, like, Buddhism and stuff like that, they're worshiping God. And in certain ways, it's like the evil side has that too. Then Lewis, I wanted to say this because, give the different sides. I like Scott. I've spoke to him a few times. He's a good guy. Yeah, I think he's a good guy too. I watched a lot of his videos. I'm kind of like, who said that? They said they kind of get repetitive. I haven't been watching a lot of targeted individual videos lately because it's just like, I'm trying to find new information. I want to find new information and just put that out and just completely focus on that. I watch a lot of Nex's videos, watch Dr. Horton. I haven't watched Scott in a while. I watched a lot. I haven't watched anything lately from Targeted in Ireland, but I watched a lot of her videos all the way through when she started making them in the beginning. Nizine Lopez is awesome. Like I think I watched some of his videos before I started making videos. So next, you leaving, or Autumn, you leaving? Self-contented. I unsigned from TI channels with too much swearing and negative vibes. Well, yeah, I mean that's up to you. Self-contented. I cuss sometimes. Sometimes I just can't help it. Like I'm just feeling so crappy. But I try and keep it upbeat. I think that's smart. I think we've got to find a balance. We can't just be like all the time, like, hey, I'm doing fine, I'm doing great, and I'm so strong, and this is all just, oh, we're winning, we're winning. We can't really do that. We can't really have false hope. So we've got to be like, hey, this sucks. I'm really hurt. I'm being murdered. I can't believe more people don't know about this. But then be upbeat enough to say, well, we're going to keep fighting. And a lot of people do know about it. And we're making some breakthroughs. We're busting up that dam. So we've got to balance it. Because I think if we're always like, hey, I'm doing fine, and you're doing good too, and we don't really say how bad it is, that's actually bad psychologically for us. So we've got to kind of balance that out. Okay, so Joanna, thanks again, Kyle. Gotta go. My battery drained. Okay, thank you for coming, Joanna. And I'll try and do some more of these. Okay, next is leaving. I think Kyle, targeted individual. Kyle, I'm the one who offered to send you. Just wanted to help. Okay, targeted individual. Thanks. I guess other people will see that comment. I don't want to say it on the video. All right, guys, I'm getting at about 2.5 hours. I'm going to do some of these with screen sharing. But thanks, Next. Thanks, Autumn. Thanks, Lewis. Target Individuals, Self-Contented, Joanna, and everybody else, Tomahawk. Thank you guys for coming. And I'm gonna plan some of these and then put up some documentation, and then you guys can like ask questions about what y'all want to know, or maybe point out things that I'm not seeing, and we can all kind of go at it that way. I think that'll be really cool with these live streams. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Let me end it with a prayer, guys. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ, thank you for all these survivors on my live stream, Lord. Just keep giving us miracles, keep giving us breakthroughs. Open the minds of people who can help us. Bigger players like senators and representatives, local government. Please open their minds and their hearts, so that we can move further along and end this. Please quicken the ending of this program, however it's going to happen. Whatever way that the path goes, please end this, end our torture. And if you can't do that today and tomorrow, please give us the strength, and please give us ways to defend ourselves and to find comfort in this and survive. Thank you, God, for all the good things and all the good people in all of our lives, and all the things that give us strength. Please give us miracles. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys. I will see you on the next one. Thank you for coming. Boy, I plan on just doing this for like 15 minutes, 2.5 hours. Maybe we'll just do some all-day live streams and just go through a bunch of documentation. I don't know. I don't want to get carried away with it. But all right, guys. I love y'all. I hope you're getting some comfort. All right, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys.